Welcome back to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast. We go back every week. We watch these episodes. Most of them I've never seen before, and none of them Ryan has seen before until, and welcome, Ryan. Welcome, Tom. Bryce
or wanted to see before.
Bryce is faceless on this. Look, a big plug to Patreon. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. If you want another season, join patreon.com/talkville. And become a top tier if you like, and get your name shouted out and other perks and be a guest on the show. And there's so much cool stuff. So patreon.com/talkville. Leave messages on the hotline well in advance if you want to be on there. And there's tons of stuff. You can go to my Instagram at @Rosenbaum and my link tree for cameos, cons that Tom and I are going to. We have so much great stuff coming. The con in New Jersey. It's our first Smallville con ever creation, so you got to get tickets to that and come see us. We're going to get a bunch of people to go to that. And, of course, talkvillepodcast.com and Inside of You online store for great merch. Lexmas scripts and T-shirts, just tons of stuff. Let's just get into this because, I almost want to get through this episode because the finale, I'm excited. The good news is the finale, I really am excited to talk to you about, but that's not today. Today it's forever, and it might feel like forever talking about it. Without further ado, let's get into season 4, episode 21, Forever.
Is there a button we can hit that just skip? Just skip
I know.
this one. Just
what
skip
I'm
it.
surprised about, and I don't think there's anything he could have done. Really, he couldn't have done anything. It's all in the writing. But James Marshall directed this, and he's directed so many great episodes that when I look at this, I'm like, what? He directed this one.
It's collecting a paycheck.
I guess so.
This would have been an epic episode if somehow it was Lex Luthor's high school experience and graduation.
Oh.
It would have been a great episode if it was a great episode.
If it was anything.
Forever aired May 11, 2005. Director James Marshall, writers Brian Peterson, Kelly Souders, who we love. Sorry if you're listening. We love you, but, you watch this episode and you'll agree with us. Jane Seymour, Genevieve Teague, Stephen Graham as Brendan Nash, Fiona Scott as Haley Timmons, Chad Crouchuk as Wendell Johnson.
Chad.
When a Smallville student who fears the future makes it his mission to freeze time, yes, freeze time, Clark must save his friends from being shattered. All the while, the war between the Luthor and Teagues reaches a fatal boiling point. Hang on your seats, folks.
But listen, as we've discussed before, sometimes these are the most fun ones because you guys have some actual insight or some rants.
I have one because Michael and I discussed this a little bit over text. One of the things about this episode, this is a cost-saving episode because they're getting ready for the finale. So what they did is they were very smart from an economic standpoint, said we can use this standing school that we use all the time and just change the premise of it, right? Mm-hmm. So they saved a lot of money just by, and Allison had to do a great job of seeming confused this most time. But the problem is it just doesn't add up. Even at the beginning, how did she get there?
None of it makes sense. Do we even see that when she looks outside? They're just trapped?
No, there's no view at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no view. They're just using the same exact set. There's nothing different about it. Let's get into it. But we'll talk about it. I'm sure people are laughing and some are like, Michael, stop shitting on the show.
The episode opens with Chloe prepping the final edition of The Torch and getting nostalgic with her photographer, Brendan Nash. After he leaves, Chloe gets an eerie feeling that someone is watching her. This sends her wandering the now empty halls of the school and into the locker room showers.
This poor character gets frozen, bent over with water on its face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a horrible spot to be in. I mean, you'll be hydrated.
I will say the effects were kind of cool.
Takeaway.
Kind of like the eyes moving behind it. That was creepy.
That was super creepy.
But, so that's a positive.
And there she sees a slumped over dead body. And after failing to have a conversation with a frozen student, she flees back into the halls. What's more, when she makes her way back into the Torch, she discovers that the school is now barricaded in some factory.
Chloe's fears of going crazy like her mother seem to be realizing.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
The next morning, the Keynts greet their son with a good morning and an interrogation on where he's decided to go to college. That was fun. Apparently, Clark has given up the idea of going to school and wants to stay local at Central Kansas A&M. And Jonathan tries to tell his son to not think of others like Lana or his parents when making decisions for his future. However, Martha thinks there's something else going on. And back inside the Smallville High experiment, Chloe begins to learn what's going on. And there's her motivation to everything. Brendan wants to make the last day of school last forever, so he commits multiple counts of kidnapping. Chloe tries reasoning with him about the upside to their futures after high school, but after countless rejection letters, he doesn't think he'll make it out of the small town. And much like his wishes to freeze time in high school, he intimidates Chloe by freezing another nearby student. And you want to hear something? That student was Allison's boyfriend at the time. The little blonde
Chad.
kid or whatever.
Oh, really?
That gets frozen in the hallway. That was Allison's boyfriend at the time.
Was he just another actor, or was he like an on-set guy? Because he didn't have a lot to do. He didn't have a lot to do.
He didn't
so
have
I
a
wonder
lot
if,
to
like,
do.
they
He
pulled
did a fine job, but that was her boyfriend. Smallville has officially ran out of Freak of the Week superpowers because Iceman in season 1 had the same effects. Tom, any memories of these frozen student props on set? Were they creepy? Were they cool?
I think I blocked it out. Watching the episode, I didn't see Clark doesn't. I'm not there for a lot of that until the very end. So it would have been like one scene. But yeah.
Over at the real Smallville High, Clark, Lana, and the rest of the seniors are grabbing their caps and gowns, and they reminisce over the transformation from freshman year, and Lana starts to have second thoughts about leaving for college. She turns her frown upside down once Clark tells her about his plans for local college. We cut to a scene in Luthor Mansion where Lex is handling serious cave excavation phone calls until he's interrupted by the disgruntled murderous employee, Jason. Jason shoots Lex with a tranq dart and will likely have no problem dragging him out of the mansion unnoticed because there are no security guards in this billionaire's mansion.
Well, he already tranked all those guys.
Right?
Right?
He tranked them all. Hey, let's have a t-shirt called Get Tranked.
Back on the farm, Martha goes to check on her husband, who is chopping wood and trying to settle into the idea of losing super strength free labor. Martha tells him they won't be able to run the farm on their own. However, Jonathan doesn't want their son to be making decisions out of guilt. Their conversation ends with ominous foreshadowing about his funeral.
Keep going.
Clark and Lana head into the Talon and notice something wrong. Not only is Chloe missing, but the Torch article is late. And worse, her latte is unfinished.
Yeah, that line, I was like, oh boy. And her latte's unfinished. Bryce, did you love this episode?
No, this was like laugh out loud bad. So,
I love it. Just
but it's
frank.
like but it's like one of those ones where you just accept it for being bad. You don't like hope that it's going to turn a corner. It's like,
it's not turning a corner.
I don't know how many times I'd look down to see how much time was left.
If this was episode like 7, I would have been a little more forgiving. But the fact that it's 21, it's the show before the finale. You want people to go, oh, I want to see
this
what
seems
happened.
like deja vu. I feel like you said this before in past seasons where it's like, why is the second to last episode this bad?
You got to make the last 3 just like
money.
bring them in. I know it's hard. We've talked about it. Next, we see our kidnapped victim of the episode, Lex Luthor, who seems to be tied up in some cabin along with his father, Lionel. Genevieve walks in with her son and promptly backhands Lionel, telling him that she is not prepared to give up her pursuit of the stones. Lex learns that not only does Lionel possess one of the stones, but that he is being used as a bargaining chip in its retrieval.
Clark stops by the Talon to ask Lois if she has any intel to find her cousin. They begin to put the pieces together as various other goody two-shoe students are MIA on the last day of school. Their search then turns towards the photographer kid, Brendan. Speaking of the devil, the next scene we see Brendan creepily approach Lana's car, asking for a yearbook signing as she's casually gazing at a stone. Mid-signatures, Brendan freezes Lana as we see a close-up, crude animation overcome her. So sad. Back over in school jail, Brendan surprises Chloe with a frozen wax-like Lana Lang, hoping to win favor with her by bringing in a kidnapped friend. They only looked like kind of like, I mean, they did what they could, but it was tough. I was like, it took a second to go, oh yeah, that's Lana. Yeah, it was close.
Yeah, it was weird.
As Lana gets the 411 on this little experiment, Chloe puts the pieces together that Brendan is collecting kids off of Smallville High's most likely to yearbook page.
Are we, because of the eye movement in the visual effects, when people are frozen, they're still alive.
Yeah.
So basically what he's saying is you're going to stay frozen like this until you do what I tell you to do, and then I'll unfreeze you.
Yeah.
Because okay.
And it's also to show that they're alive, maybe.
Yeah.
At this point, were you wondering how this high school kid pulled this all off? His superpower is freezing people, but he somehow managed to build and furnish an entire replica of the school inside of a random warehouse.
You and Chloe both.
Yeah. I was like, is it like an alternate? Did he drag him into an alternate dimension?
No, they were just at the school.
I know
not
he
that
explains
good.
it later. Like it was
Not
it was
that good.
It was a cheap explanation, but they had to explain it somehow.
No, it's going to be interesting. And I just thought about this. So like next season, we're out of high school, right? So how are they going to do these ridiculous like Freak of the Week episodes?
I don't know.
when they
Supposedly
can't
next
just, like,
season's a
bring in
great season,
random
so we
high
have something
school-
to look forward to. Next season's supposed to be good. According to the creators, Alan Miles, it's the best season. So we'll be the judge of that, Alan Miles. But from one Brendan to another Branding, we see Jason prodding Lex Luthor with a hot fireplace poker in an attempt to get Lionel to squeal. Genevieve takes over, but before she can poke Lex's eye, Lionel spills the beans about giving everything over to Lana because she is the chosen one, and we all know that.
I thought it was really nice of the Teagues to make the fire. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, Jason's going out and stoking the fire, getting new wood. He wants to keep his prisoners warm. I mean, I thought that was a nice
what would
touch.
Luthor's be without a fireplace roaring
Well,
in the background?
I guess the Luthors and Teagues would think this based on their cave knowledge and Lana having a tramp stamp. So they're kind of just throwing all this information out there that is like going, oh, so that's what you gather. That's, you know, the whole history of this thing. With this information, Genevieve goes to hunt down his son's ex, going on to convince Jason that Lana is no good. That girl is no good, and that she is the one who betrayed him. And Lois and Clark take their investigation to Smallville High Darkroom to search for clues about Brendan. Luckily, they don't have to look far because he has a working hit list posted on a wall for all to see. Not only that, but he conveniently left behind the blueprint and coordinates of his Smallville High replica. Back in the kidnapped school, Chloe pulls in Brendan and gets him to share how he threatened his father into building the school. In mid-confession, however, Lana sneaks up from behind him, knocks him out with a shelf, allowing all three kidnapped girls to make a break for it. Their escape is stopped, though, when Brendan freezes Haley, decapitates her, and then shatters her head in front of Lana and Chloe. Did you notice how all the freezing effects were done as close-ups? I guess that was a budget thing.
I mean, also, I think you can also get, from an artistic standpoint, you can get the face freezing, and that's kind of a neat effect, like get someone suddenly realizing that they're frozen.
Yep.
I also thought it was kind of gross when he decapitated her. That was...
Can we move to the Rosenbaum rating?
We're almost done.
Bryce, do we have to continue?
In a role reversal inside the cabin, Lex watches Jason as he tends the fire. While doing so, Lionel tries to manipulate his captor, speaking about how irresistible Genevieve is and how Jason got too deep by falling in love with Lana. This triggers Jason, who storms out, leaving both Luthors behind.
I have memories of this. I remember being tied up, and I remember 100% this taking forever and just getting so annoyed with James. Just like, oh my God, I'm sitting in a chair. Lionel's in a chair. This could be shot in 3 hours. What are we doing? But he's got to, and he just wanted to make it. Look, to his credit, he was trying to make this as interesting as he possibly could by shooting as much footage and making it as interesting as it could possibly be. Hindsight is 2020, because all I wanted to do was get the hell out of there at that time. Like, this
There's
is
a lot
stupid.
of scenes with Lex Luthor. There's a lot of scenes with Lex Luthor just tied up in a chair, like hostage.
It's
Like
so
I can think of 4
uncomfortable.
or 5.
Did it affect your sexual preferences?
Jesus. Jason leaves, allows for Lex to go full MacGyver by using a fire poker to singe off his rope restraints. Lex and Lionel decide to not make a sneaky escape, thus alerting Jason the pursuit is on. They dodge bullets from mere feet away as they make an escape through the woods. But let me tell you about the woods. I remember running through, and the wood stuff looked really good.
It did.
It looked cool. It was a cool run. It was a cool chase. The whole thing... Jason corners Lionel, prepares to take his kill shot, but just in time, Lex disarms Jason, causing him to flee. He gets cornered at the edge of a cliff, forcing Jason to try and reason with Lex, which I thought was kind of cool. And, Lionel's out there, and Lionel shoots him just before he's about to maybe say something, give something away, and they get into it. So that was kind of like, okay, all right,
Did you, when you were holding that branch and you were going to hit Jason, were you visualizing Marshall?
Probably. He tries
I love
shifting
you,
the
Marshall.
blame
You
towards
know that.
Clark as if Lex didn't already have room dedicated to him. room. But before he can reason anymore, Lionel fires a fatal shot into Jason's left shoulder, sending him falling to the watery death. Or is it? Instead of thanking his father, Lex storms off, threatens Lionel that if anything happens to Lana, that he will get a fatal shot as well. And next we see Lois and Clark breaking into the fake Smallville high to make their rescue. As Clark observes frozen Froey, inside the torch, Lois confronts Brendan in the hall. She attempts to roundhouse his ass, but he catches her foot and cools her off.
Before he can take a baseball bat and smash her to pieces, Clark uses super speed and strength to stop him in his tracks. Clark then tells Brendan that the jig is up and that things change whether you like that or not. Brendan takes this advice to heart and decides to smash the frozen Lana. When Clark stops him, Brendan somehow self-freezes himself into a carpal tunnel figure and then sends his own frozen body crashing off the second story, causing all the frozen people to melt to normalcy.
Is this the worst episode ever? The episode wraps up with Jonathan making a visit to his son in the loft. Jonathan makes a final plea to his son to not sacrifice his future for their sake.
This has got to be Ryan's favorite scene. This is the only
Don't
scene
say anything, Ryan. Clark defends his decision by saying it's his choice, not a sacrifice. And here we get the real reason why Jonathan is upset, because he himself made the same decision when he was going to college, which made him resent Hiram, his dad. As the school celebrates the year being over, Chloe has an emotional moment cleaning out the torch. She unites with her friends outside as they wonder how often they're going to see each other and the question marks that their future holds. The only thing missing from this scene was Pete. Damn.
One of the other things is everybody's so like, oh, I can't believe this is the last day.
I know.
I don't remember anybody in my high school ever feeling that. Everybody couldn't wait to get the F out of there. Did you have those people who were like, we should just stay here forever?
I hated high school.
No.
I wasn't a big fan of it, so I wanted to get out of there. I wasn't popular like you. How do you see Jason's storyline ending? I mean, how disappointed are we with Jason's send-off? You know, I get it. His story arc gets wrapped up for Supernatural, but it's just such a quick turn on how in his character and how he operated all season. And for this to be the way he died, were you bummed for Lana's character also deciding to stay in Smallville?
It'll be interesting if he's even brought up again. Like, even for Lana, like if Clark says, Lana, have you seen Jason lately? And she's like, he just disappeared. And then that's it. Like, we'll see. I don't know.
Talkville is brought to you by Policygenius, our good friends at Policygenius, Tom. Policygenius helps you easily compare your options from America's top insurers in just a few clicks. Their award-winning agents can even walk you through the process. Life insurance is so important. I know you have a family, and God forbid if something happened to you. I mean, Tom.
Well, I mean, it's peace of mind. I mean, really, because it's like what happens. It's the unthinkable that you're insuring. And so you can sleep at night.
But I think there's more to it. It's like it's not only a peace of mind because you'll be gone, but like a peace of mind for your family, knowing they don't have to do all the stuff that they're taking care of. You don't want to leave them.
It's their peace of mind.
They're also
because I won't have one.
Exactly, but right, it's so important because your family. It's such a hard thing to go through when you lose someone, and then having to go through all this extra stuff. If you're not insured and dealing with it, Policygenius makes it so easy for you to, make, peace of mind, like you said. A lot of life insurances, the policies may not offer enough protection for your family's needs. It may not come with you if you leave your job. So that's where Policygenius is at. Policygenius has no incentive to recommend one insurer over another, so you can trust their guidance. They have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fits for their needs.
Policygenius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It makes choosing the right policy for your family easy and quick.
Get peace of mind by finding the right life insurance with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. That's policygenius.com. Do it for your family. Talkville is brought to you by AG1. If you haven't heard us talk about AG1, I don't know where you've been, because AG1 is unbelievable. Tom and I use it every day. I just shipped off some to my mom. So many people agree with me on this. Taking care of your health isn't always easy, but it should be simple. And that's why for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been drinking AG1 every day, no exceptions. It's just 1 scoop mixed in with water once a day, every day. And it helps me feel just energized, focused. I can't deal without it, Tom.
Well, it's a win. It's a quick win too. Like you're like, oh, I did that, so now it's
part of your routine.
You've
Yeah,
great.
and look,
and tasty and easy to drink.
Easy, and that's an important thing. Yeah. AG1 tastes delicious. A lot of these times you mix in this powder and you're like, oh my gosh, this is crap. I got to hold my nose. Not with AG1. It's delicious, and you take it first thing when you wake up. AG1 helps deliver my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre and probiotics. How many times have you heard people say, you need prebiotics, you need probiotics? It's all in this glass.
You're all good.
And it has so much more. It's a powerful habit that's also powerfully simple. I really love AG1. And they have these travel packs. We take them with us when we do conventions. Do you feel like you feel better when you're drinking it?
Yeah, I feel like when I drink, first of all, it's, like I said, it's easy to drink. It mixes right up. It tastes good. And then it's a win. And you just I feel better about myself when I take it.
Yeah, well, knowing that you have all these vitamins and minerals in there and these probiotics and prebiotics, knowing that it's like almost like you're taking care of everything right in this drink every morning. And it's a healthy thing. We're always trying to get new habits and get rid of the bad habits. So instead of waking up and immediately eating something unhealthy, start with a glass of AG1. Yeah. If there's one product I had to recommend to elevate your health, it's AG1. And that's why we've partnered with them for so long, Tom. So if you want to take ownership of your health, start with AG1. Try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase exclusively at drinkag1.com/talkville. That's drinkag1.com/talkville. Check it out. Hi, Camille.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Tom.
How you doing?
Hello, Bryce.
You look great.
Good. So do you. I've been watching your podcast. It's so good.
It's fun. Oh, thank you.
So good. And you really, you're so candid and you're so honest, and I just love it. So congratulations.
I adore you.
It's wonderful.
I'll Venmo you. I'll Venmo you after this.
Okay.
Camille, you ruined it because I told Michael that you actually had a French accent, because when you're on the show, you obviously have your accent that you use on the show, and you ruined that whole thing I had going on there.
Do you speak French,
I'm sorry.
Camille?
I do. Je parle français un peu.
Oh,
Jesus. Sorry.
Who has a home phone?
God. She's a busy girl.
I still have a home phone.
There. All clear.
All right, all clear. So,
oh my goodness.
This is exciting. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time. And I was so excited because you were a big part of this. I mean, you're a memorable character throughout the series, throughout a certain part of the series. And
thank you.
It was so fun to watch you. And once you start, it took me a minute to sort of get it, to go, oh, all right, this adds an element. This is fun. She's fun, but she's also, she's tough. She doesn't take any crap, but she's also got a good sense of humor. And did you put on the accent for the audition?
No. I honestly don't know where that accent came from. And I was absolutely petrified because at the end of the first episode, I forget the director's name, lovely guy, pulled me aside, and the first day of shooting, and he said, "Camille, what's with the accent?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, they are asking that I can modify it because it's too late now to totally get rid of it." But I loved saying Mr. Keynt. That was one of my favorite things to say. Mr. Keynt.
So does Michael. Michael loves doing an impersonation of you.
Yeah, I was like, Mr.
And it's
Keynt.
funny, in anticipation of seeing you again and watching the episodes, it occurred to me that your character is actually a lot like what Michael Rosenbaum would be if he was on Smallville. Like just being like, what the F is going on here? You guys are all full of horse shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I love
this doesn't
that.
make any sense.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. I would be doing that.
But I was thinking this was a lovely opportunity for me to really think back. And you guys, both of you, were so welcoming and so sweet to me. I can't thank you enough. You were really, it was lovely. It was just lovely working with you both.
What I remember working with you is you you had such focus and presence, like no one was going to back you up, if you know what I mean. And that worked for the character. You know, you held your ground, and I remember being like, "Oh, this is formidable."
Did you
So,
know you were going to come
thank you.
back? Were they like, "Hey, you're going to come back," or was it every once in a while they'd go, "Hey, we need you back"?
You know, they, it was like, they said, I think it was, I read for a possible recurring role. And then I think it was after actually, do you know what? It was the end of the day, after I'd done all my scenes for the first episode, that makeup said, "So you'll be back for episode 2. And I said, "I am."
You heard from the makeup?
Are you serious?
They did like the accent. Makeup department loved your accent.
They didn't have their shit together, and they never do on any shows. This always happens where they don't tell you anything, and you know they know the information, but for some reason they need to give it to you. You're the last person to hear it.
Oh, totally. It was like, oh, okay, I better book a sitter. I also, one of my favorite memories too, Tom, was you playing, throwing a ball with my 9-year-old son at Keynt Farm. I was filming a scene and you guys were off in the distance in the cornfields throwing a baseball. It was so perfectly Americana. It was a beautiful summer's day. And it was a memory that I'll have forever. And I know Charlie will too. And Michael, you were so awesome too. You used to pull me aside and go, "Try it this way. Use that. See the camera over there." Because my background was theater. I'd done some film and TV, but you guys were amazing. Really,
well,
I have such fun memories.
Well, we always tried to make people feel comfortable when they came on set, because being a guest star, as you know, is the hardest thing in the world to do. You're coming on to this family that knows what they're doing. It's a well-tuned, oiled machine that just keeps on going, and you just got to jump in, and it's just like you got to let it just go. There's no time to think.
Yeah.
And,
Also, and I believe that I got this from Michael, and he helped me early on myself. I think, Michael, you're the one who told me the better I can make the other actor in the context of the scene, the better it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I think I took that from you. And I think, especially hearing from Camille right now, I think it's respectfully, like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" Or maybe try it like that. But you busted me up all the time about that, but I liked it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think if you're in a scene and you're great and you're just worrying about you and you're not worrying about your scene partner, the scene's not going to work. If you're not listening and giving them everything, it's not going to be great. And Ryan's fidgety. He's dropping shit right now. Ryan's all nervous.
Camille, we run a professional environment here.
Yes, we do. Camille, now you were killed off.
I was killed off. I was killed. It's funny. Can I tell you a little bit? Can I do a little preamble on that?
Yes, please.
So they were always very sweet. They were always, whenever you're in LA, bring Charlie to Warner Brothers. We'll show him the editing room, blah, blah, blah. So we're in LA and I took them up on it. Greg Beeman had said, "If you're ever down, give me a shout." Right? We go down to Warner Brothers. They show Charlie all the editing. It's so cool. And I'm supposed to pop in and say hi to Greg. He said, "First, you come by and see me." So we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and he's in a meeting, and I'm kind of going, "Well, I'll just," and no, Camille, he really wants to see you. So then the secretary doesn't know what to do with me after waiting for so long. So she knocks on his door. He opens it and sees me and goes, "Oh, hi, Camille," and looks over in the room. And I'm thinking someone's in there. And he says, "Well, come on in." So I go in his office room,
Nobody
and
there.
I see his huge TV screen with like frozen people sitting at the conference table,
Right?
And they're frozen, and I'm thinking, is this a rewind of something, or I'm just assuming it's an old tape of something. And then Marzi, remember Marzi?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She waves and says, "Hi, Camille." And I go, "Oh, it was the writer's room. And they just decided that minute to kill me off."
Oh,
That minute? That's what
told
you
me
walked
later.
into and they told you that at that moment?
They didn't tell me till later, but Greg told me later that the reason it was so awkward and the reason they were like frozen stupid and the reason that, I mean, they weren't stupid, but they looked like they were just frozen, inanimate people.
Yeah.
Was because they just decided the minute before that Sheriff Adams had to go.
My
Anyway,
Lord.
it was funny.
Did you remember getting upset about it, or were you like, take it in stride?
You know, I was really grateful for it. It had been a wonderful opportunity for me, and Charlie was allowed on set with my son, which was so nice. You guys were so great, but I could see that I wasn't going any further with the role, and I could tell it was slowly. My time was up. So I kind of went, yeah, whatever. And then when I got on set and the director was there and he comes rushing up to me and he goes, "Are you all right? Are you okay?" And I'm going, yeah, I'm fine.
Oh my God.
Because we don't want any scenes, do we? And I went, no, I'm not going to
Oh my
do
goodness.
do a scene. I know he was a sweet British director, but he was so protective. He pulled me
Miles?
aside and Peter Ellis,
I
Does that ring a
remember
bell?
Peter Ellis.
lovely guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but he was so worried that I was going to discombobulate on the set.
No,
And
you're
then-
like I found out 2 months ago when I was in the writer's room. I've been dealing with this for
Well,
weeks.
she
I'm
didn't
fine.
find out then, but she found out that that's the conversation that was going on. But yes. But yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
that's a tricky thing when you're like, hey, this is the last day for this. You want to bring it up and say, hey, I know this is probably not easy or whatever. And so he was
Yeah.
just trying to be respectful
Of
and
course.
all that.
Yes, and he was very dear, but he was obviously worried. And I loved that they shot my death scene first because I was told also by him later that sometimes actors don't come back. In other words, unless they shoot the death scene first, the character might not be dead because if they shoot the other scenes first, sometimes the actors don't come back to do the death
You
scene.
know what? Because sometimes you'll just hear it. Yeah, Sheriff so-and-so was shot. She's dead. And that's it. And you're like, all right, that's what would have happened. But the fact that they gave you that, you did it, I think was.
Yeah, and they gave me a nice death. Yeah.
There's this old thing in the old Westerns I came across years ago where cowboys, when they got shot in the old Westerns, they wouldn't die. So they would shoot them 6 times and the guy would hit the ground and then he'd keep moving. He just wouldn't stop moving. I think John Schneider told me this. It's like an old John Wayne thing. And they're
Right.
like, my character's not going to die. Yeah.
It sounds like something John would do. I'm surprised he didn't do that when it came time for his character to go. He just keeps
Have you
That's
guys
true.
played characters who died?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Isn't it weird? It's kind of weird psychologically, isn't it?
So I
yeah.
played a character on a TV show called Lucifer. I'll make this quick. And we were filming the last scene and my wife was there and her brother were there and it was this big epic scene and they stabbed me. And it was like, and I remember my wife's brother, my brother-in-law saying like, aren't you sad? Aren't you upset? I'm like, no, not really. I'm pretty sure next season they're going to have me back. Like in my head, like I
Yeah.
convinced myself that. And like 6 months go by and I'm like, they haven't called me. And then I got sad. If that makes like how ridiculous
I'm
is
always
that?
like, please kill me. I want to go on vacation. Kill me now. Yeah. Well, look, this has been awesome just to hang out with you.
Yes, thank you. And can I introduce you to Jordan, who was on Riverdale?
Yes.
Yeah, for
Kind
sure.
of part of the CW family.
Jordan.
Jordan. He played the Jordan Connor, ladies and gentlemen. Played Sweet Pea on Riverdale.
Hey, buddy. You never
Nice
watched
to see you.
Smallville.
I think only one of your.
Oh, here we go. There, try this one.
Admit it. You never watched Smallville.
I mean,
that works.
how old
I
are
watched
you?
every
There's
single one of Camille scenes.
No.
Oh, good
yeah.
for you.
Good
That's
answer.
very kind of
Good
you.
answer.
Well, thanks for being here. What are you guys doing today? Anything fun?
Yeah. What are we doing today?
Oh, more some
more
auditions.
What, you guys
Oh,
help
nice.
each other out with auditions? You each read a scene. Like, are you both auditioning for something?
Yeah. I read for something this morning, and then after this, we're gonna help her with the tape. Just working.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not reading for the same role, are you?
100%. It's just a wide berth.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
never know in this day and
Yeah,
age.
no
You
kidding. No kidding.
You're free to audition for anything you'd like. Well, this has been amazing. It really has. I love having you on.
Is Charlie there? Is Charlie there?
Sadly, thank you. Sadly, Charlie's
All right.
working as post-production coordinator on a film for Universal.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, you told the story about how you brought Charlie to Warner Brothers and they went into editing and all this. The funny thing about going to those places is sometimes they can be a little intimidating because they're dark and this and that. But the people who work there, no one ever visits them. So they're like the nicest people ever. Like, you know what I mean? They love that you're there. It's a beautiful thing.
One thing I don't like is when people come to visit me on set. I don't like it because if I'm working that day, first of all, they have these thoughts that, oh my God, this is the most exciting thing. I'm watching a hit show. And after about an hour, they're like, you're still doing a close-up of you? How many times are they going to do? And then 4 hours later, like, yeah, we're going to go. No, we don't need to see anything else. We don't need to meet Lana.
My parents came to visit me in Vancouver, and they were going to stay for a month. After 3 days, they came to set every day. And after 3 days, my mom's like, so I think we're going to go up and check out Whistler, maybe Vancouver Island.
Yes.
Because it's like...
Totally.
It gets boring. Well, hey, Jordan, Camille, you guys are awesome. I wish you the best. I hope you get the part. Let me know if you did. Keep kicking butt. Thanks for being on Smallville and being such a joy to work with. And love to the both of you. Talkville is brought to you by Factor. I am in love with Factor. You have made my life so much easier. Look, folks, warmer, sunnier days are calling. Fuel up for them with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. Help meet your wellness goals in time for summer thanks to the menu of chef-crafted meals with options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. So no matter how busy you are, you'll always have time to enjoy nutritious, great tasting meals. And Tom, I know you love answering your door and it's Factor delivering.
That's right there.
It's, I spend so much freaking money on delivery services for food. It's like I spend more on one delivery with tip and these taxes and extra things on one meal than I do, I think, on like 6 meals.
Also with the Factor, as I'm sure you found, it's already at your house. Like by the time you're hungry and you make the order,
it's there and it's 2 minutes or less.
You're just like, I'm going to go eat this and it's going to be good.
35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week. You'll always have new flavors to explore.
Crush your wellness goals this May with Factor's dietitian-approved meals, ingredients that you can trust.
Treat yourself to restaurant-quality meals that feature premium ingredients like filet mignon, shrimp, and blackened salmon.
Keep kitchen time to a minimum. Factor meals are ready in 2 minutes. No shopping, prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. Save yourself the time.
Believe me, it means so much. We're all so busy, and I want a delicious meal, and it's changed my life night and day. I love Factor meals. Head to factormeals.com/talkville50 and use code talkville50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. That's code talkville50 at factormeals.com/talkville50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. Factor meals. Get them. Jen Tuckerman.
Hi, guys.
How are you, Jen T?
Hey, Michael. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Hi, Jen.
I'm good.
You have a great smile,
I'm doing
Jen.
all right. Hi, Tom. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Every time I read your
Thank
name,
you.
I want to say gentle for some reason. Gentle. I don't know.
Gentle.
It's my own
appreciate
head.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't you
You're
want to
good.
say hi to Ryan?
I didn't say hello.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Genty.
Jen, welcome. First of all, why is Smallville such a big part of your life, and why are you such a big fan of it?
Oh, wow. So I'm actually kind of a newbie when it comes to the whole Smallville thing, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah. So like Ryan, I was part of the demographic that the show targeted, but I never watched it. And
You had better things to do.
Exactly. But the catch is I'm a huge Superman fan. Superman the movie is my favorite movie. I try to watch it at least once a year. And I also grew up watching Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. So clearly I failed in watching Smallville. But the primary reason why I didn't watch it was because I remember hearing on the radio back in the year 2000, long time ago, just the radio DJ was talking about a new Superboy show was in works at the WB and that Superboy and Lex Luthor were going to be best friends. And I was like, no, I'm good. So I didn't watch it.
That turned you off.
It turned me off big time, but I'm now kind of making up for lost time and watching it. And I've
Well, that
never
DJ
watched.
can go to hell because he was wrong.
I'll never know whatever happened to him. But I never watched a single episode until spring of last year. I
Oh, wow.
accidentally stumbled across Inside of You first.
Yes.
And I had a friend who for years had been convincing me to try to watch Smallville, and I kept saying no. But when I brought up Inside of You, he was like, well, if you like listening to Michael Rosenbaum, will you at least watch the Smallville pilot? And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I watched it. I fell in love with it and I started watching it. It took me a little over 3 months to watch it from start to finish. And I've only watched it once all the way
Wait,
through.
it took you 3 months to watch one episode?
No, to watch the whole series, you meathead.
The whole series.
Jeez Louise. If it took her 3 months to watch the pilot, she watched, what, a minute a week? Or something. Jen,
Yes.
how do you feel about, but you like Smallville?
I do. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Well, what about this episode that we're talking about? Did you get a chance to watch this forever?
I sure did. I watched it a couple times, actually. I took some pretty intense notes, but this is actually my favorite Freak of the Week type episode. And that,
see how
sounds
wrong
like
we
to
are?
Tom, it was crap.
You see opinions. Everyone has an opinion. You see this? This is why.
I need your inspiration for this one, Jen. I need it.
Yeah, we all
Okay.
need
Tell me what we all missed.
Okay, so I really like this episode because I really appreciated the horror movie style element to it.
Okay.
And I really like the special and practical effects. But I also appreciate that it begins to kind of sum up the end of the season as well as the end of the group's high school careers without it acting as the season finale. And it has a lot of important themes to it. Like it discusses fears, uncertainty, transition, change, expectations.
You're absolutely right. I'm so glad that this was not this season's finale.
If
Me
it was,
too.
I'd stop watching. We'd be done at season 4. I'd say, see you, Tom. Take care. It's been a really good trip.
Whether it be with Clark and his slow college decision making, Jonathan and Martha's concerns about what happens if Clark leaves the farm, and of course Lex and Lionel's descent into madness with the Teagues. Like we definitely could feel that there's an end coming, but there's still a lot that's very uncertain. And also too, like I appreciated this episode because I like the whole most likely to theme of like the senior superlatives in the yearbook, because I myself was voted most musical in my high school yearbook when I graduated. So
can you give me a Somebody Save Me?
Somebody save me.
Wow, I can never hit that note. Somebody say. I can't do it.
Yeah, I'm an alto. Was an alto. Haven't sung in a really long time. But with that said, I just really appreciated it because, and I actually like the Freak of the Week because what stands out really is his emotions and his feelings as his high school chapter closes, because I can relate to that. I too did not really want my high school career to end. I really loved high school. And when I graduated, there was a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty there. I loved high school. So it was just...
I can respect that and also respectfully disagree completely.
I know.
But I'm honestly, I got to tell you, I'm happy that you see it differently. I'm glad that you've opened our eyes to the reasons why you like it. And I admire that people can, I'm a big critic when it comes to things, and I see, the flaws and things. And I like things to be grounded. I like things to be more of in a reality, even though it's Superman and all these things. I like things to adhere to the rules that they create. And sometimes when I see things that just aren't understandable or believable or plausible, if you want, it takes me out. It takes me right out. So I'm very difficult to please in that regard. But I do. I think it's really cool that you, first of all, you loved high school, because I didn't. But,
I know. Yeah.
So I was ready to go. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was ready to get out of there. And but for someone who liked high school, you can sort of relate to him in a really weird way that I couldn't. So that's cool. But I do think you're wrong.
And that's okay.
What episode don't you like? Is there an episode that you're like, oh, this is my least favorite of all time?
I don't like Spell. I just don't understand. Like, I understand how the stones are really important in that it leads to the creation of like the Fortress of Solitude and stuff. But I feel like the story could have been taken in a much different direction. Like, I love the fact that like Lex Luthor was traveling around the world doing like artifact digs and trying to find the objects. I feel like there should have been much more than that, than dealing kind of with like the witches and the Thoreau kind of storyline.
I also listen. Spell is not one of our top fives, that's for sure. And we even had
The
Kristen
Witch is a
on, and
freak
she
whip.
she was able to kind of laugh. I think they went a little too far with the whole accent of it all, like trying to be other characters. I just think that took us all out of it a little bit, and it's one of Alan Miles' least favorite episodes too.
What's your
Creators
favorite
of the show.
episode?
Well, actually, my favorite episode is further along in season 6. I really like the episode Static, and that has to do with Lex Luthor kind of, I think he's like transferred to a different like radio frequency of sorts, and Lana tells him that she's pregnant, and it's that kind of
gets
storyline.
dark.
Yeah, but just the
dark.
way that it was filmed and some of those scenes I just really, really like how it was shot. So that's one
I'm
of my.
making
Did you have a
Yeah.
problem with Lex Luthor making love to Lana Lang?
No, I actually didn't mind it initially.
All right.
I don't know. I just thought it was different.
Lana did.
I just feel that Lex has always deserved to have some kind of love, and I just always have kind of wondered, like, if they actually had a storyline where there was a character that legitimately loved Lex, and then somehow he lost her in some way. I feel like could have added to more of the reason why Lex turned into what he became. But
Well, you're
yeah, I
very
didn't mind it.
insightful. You're very bright, and I like your sort of your thoughts about all of this, about the show. And do you watch it by yourself, or did you watch it with someone else?
I watch it by myself mostly, but I do watch it occasionally with a good friend of mine.
Are you still singing?
Is that the friend who turned you on to the show?
Yes, and he says hi, by the way.
What's his name?
What's his name?
His name is Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Matt.
He's not here, but I'll send him your regards.
What do you call
Thanks,
a guy
Matt.
with no arms, no legs, and sits in front of your house?
Oh, jeez. Come
Matt.
on.
Not Matthew. I was going to go with Matthew.
No,
All right.
not Matthew. Well, look, Jen T, it's a joy having you here. You have a heart of gold, and I love
Well, thanks.
You have to come back sometime. You're fantastic.
Oh,
And
I'd absolutely love to. Yeah, anytime.
this show is sponsored by Betterhelp. You know, Tom, this year has flown by. I can't believe we're already almost halfway through it. I mean, it's honestly astonishing. And when life goes fast, when it goes so fast, it's important to take a moment to celebrate your wins and make adjustments for the rest of the year. Therapy can help you take stock of your progress and set achievable goals for the next 6 months. Therapy is so helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. And it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. Therapy truly is for everyone. If you're thinking of starting therapy, please give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Take a moment. Visit betterhelp.com/talkville today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/talkville.
Interesting things to note. Chad Krochek, who plays Wendell, like I said, was Allison's boyfriend in real life. And this episode marks the last appearance of the Torch until Homecoming, the 200th episode of Smallville, which I wasn't there for. And now it's time for the hotline, folks. We love our Leah. Leah, what do you got for us? I wonder what our fans are going to say about this.
Hey guys, Leah here in California. I wanted to let y'all know that it's actually explained in the Lois and Clark series that Clark has a 1 centimeter aura of protection around him, which is why his clothes usually don't get damaged. I guess if something is bad enough, like a nuclear explosion, then they sort of get singed. But anyway, that's the explanation for that. Also, I wanted to just thank you for doing this podcast. It's been really enjoyable and I'm looking forward to next season. I actually quit smoking this year and it's been a huge help for me. It's been basically like a mental nicotine patch. So you guys were very helpful in that. So thank you very much and can't wait till next season.
You're a sweetheart, Leah. Thank you. I'm so glad you quit smoking. Good for you. That takes a lot of strength. All right, we're going to go to Kendra. Kendra, what you got for us? Let's hear it. This is going to be a good one, I could tell.
Hi, this is fellow patron Kendra from Brooklyn, New York. Hi, Michael, Tom, and Ryan. If you guys had to pick a high school superlative for yourselves, what would it be? Thanks. Love the podcast.
A high school superlative to describe yourself.
I got one.
What was yours?
I was most athletic. It was a very small school.
I don't remember.
Most handsome?
I don't. No, I mean, I
1
was
centimeter
young
aura?
and when I graduated from high school, I'd only been there for 3 years. I may have never gotten one. I graduated 6 months early from high school. I wasn't even there for the graduation. I effed off.
Wait, why?
I wanted to get out of there.
So
Yeah.
you like did stuff early or
Yeah.
ahead of time?
My high school
Yeah.
superlative would
I was
probably
not there
be
for the end of it.
most likely not to be remembered. I think that's what it would be. Ed?
Hey, this is Ed calling from Ohio, and I got a question about the waxy effect that was given in this episode 21 Forever. How was this done? If you don't know, do we need to call Al? Okay, keep up the good work. Thank you.
He says we should call Al. How was the waxy costume effect done? I don't know. It was all CGI. There's nothing else you could say. They probably had some kind of mannequin, and then they just did something from that. They had some kind of claymation of each person in a position, and then they added effects. Leanne, what you got for us, Leanne? Hello, Leanne. How are you?
Hey guys, it's Leanne P. from Sacramento. So, the timing of Lionel shooting Jason, do y'all think it was truly to save Lex or to hide the truth from him? Thanks. Bye.
Of course, there was some ulterior motive. I don't think it was to save Lex. I was thinking to hide the truth from him.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Or maybe both. Combination of both.
Hi guys, it's Carolyn from Springfield, Missouri. And I just got to say that the bonding special moment between Clark and his dad and Lex and his dad at the edge of the cliff, it was just kind of cool because I think Lionel really was trying to save Lex. He wouldn't have let him die. And it was kind of neat that it was a touching moment for both the father-son duos in the episode. Thanks. Bye.
I agree. Those were nice moments. Those were nice moments, Caroline.
Listen, Lex is standing there with a log in his hand, a tree branch, with Jason can't back up 1 inch. And Lionel shoots Jason to get rid of him. And he says, well, he was about to kill you. No, he wasn't about to kill you.
That's right. You're right. He wasn't. He was standing there. We could have just
talked it out, perhaps.
Yeah, yes.
Hi, my name is Kate. I'm from Ohio. Is there a point that you guys would like to relive and live over and over again, or would you rather move on from your past? Thanks. Bye.
That's a good question. I think it's a question that a lot of people get. Like if you could recreate one moment or recreate something over and over again, what would it be? I'm sure there's a time in my life where I was so carefree and just felt good, and that, maybe there's that. Maybe there's a moment in college.
That one summer at the lake.
That one summer at the lake. That one time in band camp. I don't know. Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know either.
Tom?
Well, nothing comes to mind, but obviously my brain, I all of a sudden I jump into like all the things that could possibly go wrong with it. And it reminds me of like Total Recall. Like when they put you in that homeostasis, when they put you in that pod, do they say, choose something to relive for eternity until we can bring you back? I wonder. Maybe that's another movie we can do. But, or are you simply just asleep? Like when they put people on those spaceship pods and they wake them up years later and they're like, I feel like I just woke up. I don't know.
I don't know. That's
does the same memory being lived over and over give you the same result? Probably not.
Yeah, I think it's just like if there's a good memory that you just can, let's say you go to heaven, if you believe in heaven, and you go to heaven and supposedly it's just everything, all the good things that happen to you, the great moments, the great people, the people you like seeing, hearing the right music that makes you feel good. Everything is feel good. If it was sort of
it's like a
collage
it's like a dopamine den
of those scenes running around, like all the great moments of your life into one loop. That could be kind of cool. Evelyn says, my question is to Michael. Do you remember recording the scene where Genevieve threatens to gouge your eyes out? It seems so hot. It was a fake. It was a fake thing. So I was never really, but I just had to create fear. Rosenbaum rating system.
Rosenbaum rating.
Here we go. We'll start out with Tom.
1 bomb.
That's your first bomb ever, I think.
Ever. Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. This is ridiculous. I wouldn't show this to anybody.
I wouldn't even show it to myself again.
So, 1 bomb. 1 bomb.
Bryce?
I don't know. A bomb. I didn't really think it through. No, probably 2 bombs. It was bad. It wasn't just bad.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be corrected.
If it wasn't
more
for
negative.
a couple of little highlights, it would have been a 3 bomber, but I'm going to go 2.5 bombs for this one. I think this is just a Rosenbaum bomb and a half.
I think Gen T helped.
Gen
T
T
help
helped
a little bit.
Yeah, she helped me get out of the 3 bombs with some nice
I would have
thoughts.
definitely put $100 down that you would have gone 3 bombs.
I
question.
didn't want to go 3 bombs because I'm sure there's going to be something else that I could do that, and it's going to be really a magical day. Death and save count. 3 dead. Brendan kills Haley and freezes himself. Jason dies. 5 saved. Clark saves Lana and Chloe and 2 other frozen students. Lex saves. Who does Lex save? I don't know. 321 episodes, 21 dead, 44 saved. Series 113 dead, 147 saved. Ryan's favorite scene. Did you pick it? Okay, read them out.
Scene 1, Lionel and Lex's escape. Scene 2, Brendan's shattery death. Or scene 3, John's confession.
I'm going to go with, the woods, the whole Lionel and
I'm going to go with
Lex
John's
chasing
convention.
Jason. Huh?
I'm going to go with the John scene, his confession.
I went with the Lionel and Lex.
Yes. Gotcha.
It was one of those, like, you know, when a show when like 2 unlikely characters team up and they're like, because it happens in like moments of crisis when they're like, they sort of seem to like, I don't know. There's that moment where they're hiding behind the tree and like, let's split up. Yeah. And they're like, I don't know.
It's kind of fun.
I like an unlikely team up.
Yeah. That's it for the episode. Stick around next week as we tie a bow on season 4 and graduate with episode 22, commencement. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be uplifting. I have a good feeling about this one. Let us know your thoughts on the episode over on our socials at Talkville Podcast or Talkville Pod. Support Patreon. You get to be a top tier, come on the show. So many perks. Patreon.com/Talkville. Merch, talkvillepodcast.com or Inside of You online store for great merch. And my Instagram link tree for all the cons Tom and I will be at. Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath if you want stuff for your dog. And lots of other stuff. And everything else is in the description. It's been fun. It wasn't a fun episode. But, there wasn't much good. But thanks for Gen T. Thanks for Camille Mitchell. Having these guys on the show, these ladies, made the episode better. It brightened the mood. And remember, folks.
Always hold on to Smallville.
And now it's time for our favorite time of the show, Tom. And you're here with me to read the names of our top tier patrons. Patreon.com/Talkville. You guys rule. We're in person. We're here in the studio. And here we go, Tom.
Thank you, guys. We got Leanne P., Raj C., Santiago M., Little Lisa, Thomas, Tom Turner. I was almost going to say Thomas.
The leaf blower. Yeah.
Anyway, Shane W., Sophie M., Betsy D., Abhi P., Ray H., Karen Apple M., 99 more, Lalani N., Brett G., always hold on to Smallville, Esteban G., Garrett W., Bob K., Kimberly L., Tom N., thank you, Jason W., Osama A. in the house tonight, Glenda P. and Lana rhymes with banana. W.
Lana, damn it. Nancy D, Brian G, Sarah W, YVR Grips, Anna M, Amanda R, Brandy S, Teddy 127, Michael P, Ryan R, Jordan M. We got Randy B, we got Craig G, Jarrell, Heather, and Greg. Thanks for coming to the podcast again. All you guys. Leanne P was there and Dan was there. I made Talkville say butts. Brian H, Eric K, Kristen B, Darth Achilles, Finky, Brian H. You better have been there. You were there. Early is on time. Miss Charles Kent. Damn. Who's that? Jeanette E, Deadvid, General Zod, Theodore, Nathan B, Jam and J, Doug R, Carlos C, Tommy Z, Boston 68, Ken the Limerick Guy, Corey L, Mr. Home Arcade, Jesse C, Claire M, D Brown, Karen Era M, Jules M, Eldon Supremo, Leslie V, Brian P, McBurts, Ginger Moose. Please remember Janice from North Carolina, always. Christoph S, Michelle M, Drew.
Yes, and Amanda Lynn. I got it right.
Nicely
That's the first
done.
time ever.
Nice time.
Maybe because I'm here. Jessica B. Michael Keynt doesn't blank. Sebastian F. Wolfie in the house.
Wolfie.
Dak Flando.
Wolfie.
Steven the grocery checker. That's my boy. I see him literally once, almost twice every day when I'm at home. Much love. You know what I'm saying? What do they do? What do the guys do?
I don't know.
They go like that? Like it's like a thing?
I don't know.
Matthew Lincoln B. Breyer. Charlene A. The Coopers. Marion Louise L. CGO. Cindy C. Nikki L. Shannon Fofanen. Tina E. Matt Rick. Genty. Not Gentle.
Gentle.
Yeah. Randy S. Cassie B. Brad A. Felicia R. Manny Mo.
Danny Mo.
Yeah, whatever.
Danny Mo. Mirabelle L.
JS. Mary K. Steve and Nate. Danger. When you're rich, you aren't crazy, you're eccentric. Rosenbaum fan, Sammy Sharman. Yeah, that's a mouthful. Carrie Ann. Patrick R. The Alexander Castle. I like that one. White Castle, too. Daryl E. Spicy Chicken. Jenny B. 76. Anna B. Monica T. Jeffrey K. Pink Kenobi.
Pip Kenobi.
Yeah. Pip Kenobi. Katya C. Previously on Smallville. Matt C. D-Pro. You got this.
Sajal and Devon, Chadwick B, Keith B, Major Paradox, Kooky K, the patron saint of Smallville, Libertariat, Biagio C, Cal L 38, Felicia B, Lady J, the Salty Ham, Murphy C,
this.
David L, Madison H, Micah J, Tori H, Paul the Grim G, Grim Greeper, Stephanie T, Guitar God 021, JD Turkleton, Kelowna A, Z Wicked Stepdad, Joel P, Natalia, Dr. Jacia, Red Blue Blur 8, Dr. G, and my paradoxical me. Thank you guys. We love you. And thanks for the support. I mean, I love reading these names. There's a lot of you. And
that last one has to be also an Inside of You follower. Has to be.
Paradoxical?
I mean,
I don't know. I don't think so.
It has to be.
Maybe he or she will be after this.